Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Crunch Time. We just witnessed the two teams in the AFC West that are going to be fighting for the first seed in that division, the Chiefs and the Chargers. Listen, I think the Chargers and the Chiefs are on a different tier than the Broncos and the Raiders. I think they're more complete teams. I think they have better quarterbacks. I think they're coached better. And because of that, I feel like they are a step above what the Raiders and the Broncos are. To talk about this game, the Chiefs beat the Chargers 27-24, and there is a lot to take away from what we just saw. It was a tale of two halves. In the first half, I think the Chargers dominated fairly easy. They consistently got pressure on Patrick Mahomes, and they had two interceptions that got called back. The Chargers held the Chiefs' offense to 4 punts and 1 touchdown in the first half. And that 1 touchdown came from one of the most egregious defensive pass interference calls that I've seen. Bryce Callahan was called for pass interference on Marquez Valdes-Scantling when it was obvious MVS was the one who kind of turned him around. And off that, it set up a Chiefs touchdown in the second quarter. And if it wasn't for that, the Chiefs would have been shut out in the first half by this Chargers defense. Now, the Chargers defense in the first half showed exactly why they spent all that big-time money in the offseason to improve that unit. Khalil Mack was huge. Bryce Callahan in the slot. The defensive line looks a lot better in terms of stopping the run. And I think Drew Tranquill, who wasn't a new acquisition, but he played fairly well, and that's somebody that they needed to develop because their linebacking core is kind of thin. But in the second half, the Chiefs started to pick it up. They scored a touchdown on the first drive. It was a 41-yard touchdown pass from Patrick Mahomes to Justin Watson, in which he beat J.C. Jackson on. Now, that's embarrassing. J.C. Jackson just got paid big-time money by the Chargers. He's getting paid top dollar in terms of the cornerbacks in the NFL. And Justin Watson, who's a journeyman NFL player, who's not even a starting receiver, turned J.C. Jackson around and beat him on a post for a touchdown by Patrick Mahomes. Now, Justin Watson has been one of those hidden gem guys that I know a lot of Chiefs fans are familiar with because in the offseason, this guy was getting a lot of buzz, and the chemistry between him and Mahomes is real. But he had that 41-yard touchdown, and Patrick Mahomes on that pass. My, oh my. Watching Patrick Mahomes is a thing of beauty every single time. He is one of, if not the best players that I've ever seen play the position in my lifetime. I'd even say he's the best. In my lifetime, I only got to see the tail end of Tom Brady, 35 and after, even though Tom Brady was still very elite at that point, and the last of Peyton Manning. In terms of guys I've seen start their career, Patrick Mahomes is definitely one of those guys that he's the best that I've ever seen in my life. Ultimately, what cost the Chargers in this game was Justin Herbert's pick six in the red zone. It was a stick concept, and I'm not a big fan of those in real life or in Madden. I never usually have success with those concepts. And Herbert wanted to lead Gerald Everett inside, but Gerald Everett's effort was poor due to him being fatigued. And the play before, he wanted to get out the game because he was tired. He just had a big-time game. He, told the coaching staff, I want to get out the game. They left him in the game. He was tired walking into the huddle and lining up. And then Herbert's expecting him to give more of an effort on that play, and he doesn't. And sixth-round pick, whose name is Jalen Watson, intercepts it, and it's a 99-yard pick six. That was the biggest play of the game, in my opinion, because it was 17-17 at that point. That pick six made it 24-17, and after that, the Chargers just could never find momentum offensively. Then you saw Justin Herbert get injured when he was taken down by Nick Bolton. It was apparent he had a rib injury. It was so bad that it was third down. He had a free lane to get a first down, and he decided not to run it and just pass it away. And then the very next play on fourth down, he throws a freaking dime to DeAndre Carter. Justin Herbert is just unbelievable, but I think that was the biggest play of the game, and it was a coaching error. If they would have taken Gerald Everett out the game because he was tired, then that interception most likely doesn't happen because the player who is in there gives a better effort to catch that ball. And that wasn't the only coaching miscue I thought that there was in this game. There was another one 2 drives after. It was the 5th drive in the second half. And I felt like in the second half, the coaching decisions weren't very good, specifically from Joe Lombardi. I felt like he was too conservative on his play calling. After the Herbert pick 6 in the red zone, basically on the 1-yard line, 2 drives after that, it was a 5th drive in the second half. It was 3rd and 2. And the Chargers call a run play, and they get -2 yards. It's now 4th and 4, and the Chargers decide to punt it when you're down 7 points against the Chiefs. I feel like in that situation, for one, the 3rd and 2, you got to give it to Herbert. You got to have him pass the ball. And then I would have went for it on 4th down. I mean, come on. You're on the road. I understand their defense was playing terrific, but I want the game to be in my quarterback's hands, and that's why I would have went for it. And knowing Brandon Staley and how aggressive he is, this game, I thought outside of a couple moments, he was a little bit too conservative. But ultimately, Joe Lombardi is somebody that I've been saying this about for a while. He's way too conservative of a play caller. We saw that in Detroit when he coached Matthew Stafford. We saw that with the Saints with Drew Brees. There is no reason why Justin Herbert's depth of target should be one of the lowest in the NFL given his arm talent and what he can do in terms of passing the ball and fitting the ball into windows that no other quarterback can fit it into. I feel like Joe Lombardi coaches Justin Herbert like he's a 40-year-old Drew Brees. And I would love to let the offense loose a little. Let Justin Herbert sling it. Let him take these deep shots to Mike Williams. Let him place the ball like he knows how to place it, which is usually perfect because Justin Herbert is otherworldly. I think the most important thing for the Chargers going forward is finding ways to win games, figuring out ways to win games in which they are dominating, which they were in the first half, and it is a little bit of a grinded out, muddy game. The Chiefs you could say the Chiefs didn't play that well, but they have experience winning these type of games, and I think the only thing that's going to take the Chargers to the next level from being viewed as a team that everybody expects to shit the bed is to figure out ways to win these games. The Chiefs, despite how ugly they played the entire game, have a history of winning games exactly like this. I think these two teams are going to be fighting for the division crown all season. The Chiefs, despite public perception in the offseason, are still a legit and an elite football team. I know in week 1 people just said, oh, it's Arizona's secondary. They're not that good. But I feel like them finding a way to beat the Chargers after the Chargers had a pretty good win against the Raiders, and I think they played very well against the Chiefs in the first half. They found a way to win this game. The Chiefs are still an elite level team, and just because they lost Tyreek Hill, I mean, this doesn't change anything. They still have Andy Reid, one of the best coaches in football, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, an offensive line that's elite, a defensive line that's elite. I mean, this Chiefs roster, despite drafting and having a lot of rookies that are starting and young players starting, they develop nicely, and they're able to find hidden gems in the draft. Shout out to Justin Herbert for playing through an apparent rib injury. He's amazing, and I hope that he's okay. I put a parlay up for this game. It was a 4-leg parlay. I had Patrick Mahomes over 250 yards passing, Justin Herbert over 250 yards passing, Mike Williams over 80 yards, and a touchdown. Now, I hit on 3 of those. It was a $10 parlay to win $60. I lost on the Mahomes not having 250. He had 235. It's a tough loss. I'm not going to lie. It kind of stings. It kind of does sting. Mahomes should have definitely had over 250. But, hey, that's what happens when you bet. You're never guaranteed anything. Drop down any bets that you guys place on this game if you want to. If you hit, drop them down below. Let me get some knowledge off of you. And also, if you didn't place any bets, just drop your biggest takeaway on this game. What did you think about this Thursday night matchup between the Chargers and the Chiefs? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.